Hi, everyone. I hope everybody is doing great. So we are going to be going over midterm 4 practice midterm, and we're going to be reviewing chapter 12. Chapter 12 consists of section 12.1 through 12.5. I do want to emphasize, do not worry about the Z-scores. I want to emphasize on that. So that should be a hint somewhere. So don't worry about memorizing all the Z-scores. You don't have to do that. You will not need that for this test. Okay, now let's continue to do a review. Remember, this review is the majority of what you're going to be looking at during your exam. Obviously, it's not the same as your midterm, but of course, it has the same kind of flavor. So please make sure to view this video all the way at the end, so then you can use this for your midterm. Okay. All right. So here on question 1, I give you 30 customers. Find the 20th percentile of these customers. So we have a given data here. These numbers, there's 30 different customers. This is actually the ages. So given ages of 30 customers. And I want us to find the 20th percentile. So to do that, since we have 30 of them, we have to multiply it by 0.20. How did I get this 0.20? 0.20 is actually the percentile. So you're going to be taking your calculator and you're going to be putting on your calculator, what's 30 times 0.2 or 0.20? So you change your 20th percentile, your 20% or your 20 percentile into a decimal, which is 0.20. When we do 30 times 0.20, you get 6. So what is this 6 about? So what you're going to be doing is actually you're going to go and cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to be the next number after that. So 27 is your final answer. So it's always the number afterward. So you're going to cross again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it should be the next number afterward. That is the 20th percentile of this data. All right, next one up. We have particularly some of the data here. We want to, again, this is not an order by section, so please make sure you know how to do everything from sections 12.1 through 12.5. So construct a box plot for the following data. So I actually listed here the steps you need to take. Step 1, you have to find the minimum and the maximum of this data. So the minimum data, if there are in order, which it looks like it, this is the minimum data. This is the maximum data. Now we need to find the actual median. Sorry, here, let me just fix that. 1 second. So the step 2 is to find the median of the data. So to find the median is cross, 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 cross. So I crossed 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2 middle numbers in the data. So to find the median of this data, you add 97.6 plus 98.8 divided by 2. That should be your Q2. So your second quartile, your median is also your second quartile. So here what you're going to do is do 97.6 plus 98.8. So you get a total of 196.4. You're going to divide that number by 2 using your calculator. You are allowed to use a calculator in this class. So 98.4 Q2, this is Q2 for your median. Now to find Q1 is actually the middle number between, so if I have here my Q2, I'm going to find the Q1 by actually finding the median of this quartile. So then I have here 98.2, which is right here. So then I do across, 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 and across. So my median or my Q1 is 92.1. And I do the same thing for the next data. So from here to here, this is Q3. That's the upper quartile, sorry. To find Q3, you're going to find the median of the upper quartile. So I'm going to do cross, wait a second, cross. So the middle number is 100.2. That is your Q3. So now that I have the min, so when you do a box plot or a it's also called a whisker plot. So you always put your min, your max, and then you have your Q2, sorry, your Q1, your Q2, and then your Q3. And you put it above. So the minimum value, we saw that it was 90.7. Q1 was 92.1, Q2 is 98.2, Q3 was 100.2, and our max value was 102.2. So then to do the quartile and your whisker box plot, so you're going to put here like a dot here, like a whisker. You're going to go on to Q1. You're going to draw like a little cat, and then you're going to go all the way to Q3. And then where Q2 is, you're just going to make a little line, like a little dash, like so. And then you're going to end your line here all the way to your max. And that is your whisker plot. Okay, or a box plot, same thing. So again, your minimum, your Q1, your Q2, your Q3, and your max. So Q1 is the middle, so your median of the upper quartile, and Q3 is the median of your, sorry, your Q1 is your lower quartile, your Q3 is your upper quartile. So there it is. That is question number 2. Moving on. Finding the range and the standard deviation. Well, the range is pretty simple. Finding the range, all you have to do is find the smallest, or sorry, the largest minus the smallest. So the largest value in this data is what? The largest value is actually 31, right? Minus the smallest, which is 1, 30 is your range. That is your range. So the largest number from the data minus the smallest value of the data. Okay. Now, finding standard deviation is a little bit more complicated and it's kind of lengthy. So I wrote in some steps that you can do. You should also be able to find these steps under section, let me get here. It looks like section 12 point, let me just verify that information. You should find this in your PowerPoint that I have for you. So it looks like it's going to be chapter or section. Yes, so standard deviation is section 12.3, measures of dispersion. So that you should go ahead and look at that. you can find exactly step by step on how to find standard deviation as well in section 12.3 under PowerPoints in my modules. So I actually write it here. So first thing you have to do is find the mean. Well, how do you find the mean? You should know how to do that. Pretty simple. To find the mean, all you have to do is add all of the numbers in the data. So do 1 plus 17 plus 28 plus 31 plus 12 plus 11, all divided by n, or the number of elements in your data set. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and calculate that again using your calculator. We're going to go ahead and find the mean. So I have 1 plus 17 plus 28 plus 31 plus 12 plus 11. And it looks like it's 100, nice number, divided by 6. So maybe if I get 100 divided by 6, and I get roughly 16.667. So I'm going to round that to 16.67. So this is my mean. It's okay if it's not pretty number. So then your data value are the ones that are given 1, 17, 28, 31, 12. I could put these in order, so I'll go ahead and do that. From biggest, smallest to biggest. So I'm going to put 1, and then the next number is 17. Sorry, then the next number is 11, and then 12, and then 17, and then 28, and then 31. Now to find the deviation, it's actually, you're going to subtract the data value from the standard deviation. So the deviation of the first one is 1 minus 16.67. So you're doing 1 minus 16.67. This is negative 15.67. Same thing. You do 11 minus 16.67, your standard deviation. It's okay if it's negative. 11 minus 16.67, that's negative 5.67. Let me rewrite this one. So this one was, this is negative 15.67. Oops. Erasing. All right. So then the deviations are actually these. So this is the deviation, what I'm highlighting. Now for the next one, the deviation is 12 minus 16.67. So calculator 12 minus 16.67, which is negative 4.67. You have to do this very slowly because there's a lot of margin of error here, okay? So this is where a lot of people kind of choke. So the next part is 17 minus 16.67. Zoom in a little bit. So then 17 minus 16.67, I get 0.33 or 0 points. This is 0.33. So that is my deviation. Same here. I'm going to do 28 minus 16.67. So 28 minus 16.67, 11.33. And then last one, 31 minus 16.67, 14.33. Okay. So these are the deviations. Now that I have the deviations, I need to square each deviation. I have to square it and then sum them together. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to do a bigger list. So let's look over here. So I have negative 15.67 squared plus negative 5.67 squared plus negative 4.67 squared plus negative, oh, sorry, this one's 0 or 0.3, 0.33 squared plus 11.33 squared plus 14.33 squared. This is a 14.33. Okay. Now all of this is going to give me a number. Okay. So you're going to use your calculator and very slowly are going to input it. So make sure when you are doing your calculations, you're being very, very careful into submitting. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate that right now. So I have negative 15.67 squared plus, and then I'm going to be writing that all down, negative 0.67 squared plus negative 4.67 squared. And then plus 0.33. So there, and then plus 11.33 squared. And then plus 14.33. And that gives me a total of 633.34. This is rounded. Oh, sorry. Let me read that. So it's 633.333. So 633.3. So that is the number I get from step 3. Now I have to divide the sum by n minus 1. So I'm going to take the 6633.33 divided by n minus 1. Well, what is n minus 1? N is the number in your sample. So you have how many? You have how many samples? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So n minus 1 would be 5. So then 633.33 divided by 6 minus 1, 633.33 divided by 5. It's going to give us a number. So let's go ahead and do that. And then on my calculator, that's going to give me roughly 126 point, so 633.33 divided by 5. Yep, 126.66, which is 126.67, you round. So then after the last step is you have to take the square root of that particular number. So then you take the square root of 126.67. You're gonna have to round. So on your roughly, if I take the square root of, of this number, so the square root of 126.67 is going to give me roughly 11.254, rounded to the nearest 100. So it's 11.25. This is your standard deviation, finally. So you have to do all these steps before you get to the standard deviation part. Okay, so that is your final answer. So make sure you're following each and all of the steps that I have provided here. Okay, that is essential. All right, with that said, I am going to continue and I'm going to scroll it down. All right, so the next step is to, given the table answer the following questions. This is a frequency table. We should know how to do this. We want to list the items in numerical order. All right, so then here, what do we have? We have, this is the value. This is the frequency. Okay, so then I have how many 12s? I have 3 12s. I have 2 13s. I have 1 15. I have 4 21s. I have 2 22s. And this is all you have to do in numerical order. That's it. That is part 1. Part 2 is to find the mode. Well, what is the mode? The mode is which number repeats itself the most. The mode is 21. Repeats 4 times. That's the mode. This mode, 21. Now, how do we identify the mode? Well, it's the number, the value in the set. Let me go to a different color here. It's the value in the set or in the sample with more frequency. That is what the mode is. It's the value in the set with more frequency. So who has a more frequency? Well, 21 does. So that's how we identify the mode. What is the n value in the data? So the number in n, or in this particular value of the data, is how many elements we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have a total of 12 elements in the data. Okay. That's what we have. We have 12 different elements in the data. Now, how is the mean of the frequency value calculated? Well, we know how to do that. Well, it's the sum of the value times the frequency. So we're going to have right here 3 times 12 plus, let me bring that up. We have 2 times 13 plus, well, just 15 times 1 because it only appears in once, plus 21 times 4 plus 22 times 2, all divided by the sum of f, or the frequency. In this case is n, or 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2. That looks like it's 12. So then if I calculate it, it's going to be 36 plus 26 plus 15 plus 84 plus 44 all over 12. So let's find what that number is. Punch that in your calculator. Again, 12 is the sum of the frequency. So all I did was add 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4 plus 2. That gave me 12. Okay. If you're still kind of confused where that 12 got, where did I get that from? 36 plus 26 plus 15 plus 84 plus 44, which is equivalent to 205 divided by 12. So it's going to do that. That gives me roughly 17.08. So this is my frequency mean distribution. This is to the hundredth place. What is the mean of the data? Well, the mean of the data is actually the sum. So you're going to add these values divided by So you're going to add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 13 plus 15. You're going to add these values divided by the quantity here. So we have 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 13 plus 15 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 21 plus 22 plus 22. Yep, so it's 205. The sum of the frequency. Yep, so if I have 3 plus 2, that's 5. Plus 1 is 6. 6 and 4, yep, 12. So it's going to be the same number. So it's 205 divided by 12. And it's the same, 1708. And then what is the mean if the 222 was removed from the data? So if the 222 were removed from the data, I would have 205 minus 44 because we're removing divided by now 10 because our sample space reduced by 2. So it'd be 205 minus 44, 161 divided by 10, 16.1. That would be your mean if the 222s were removed. So basically you would be removing these two completely, were out of the picture. So you have to add them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 would be now your new N, your new data set. Okay. And that is it for question number 4. Okay. Moving on. Given the stem and leaf plot, identify the mean, the median, and the mode. Well, first we have to write out the whole data. So step 1, list your data. So how do I list my data? Well, this is 20, 21, and 22. Remember, this is a coefficient. So 20, 21, and 22. And then the next one is, I'll write it, the coefficient is 31, 32, and 33. The next one up is, let me changing colors here. 42, 43, 44. There's two 44s here. There's a 4, 4, 4, 4. Then you have the 5. So you have 56, 56, 57, 57, and then 57 again. 1, 2, 3. Then you have the 6, which is 66, 68, 69, and 69. Now we need to find the following. The mean, second. We need to find the mean, the median, and the mode of this data. So the mean is going to be wrong. All we have to do is add them and divide it by the quantity. So for example, I'm going to be writing it out. So let me punch that in the calculator here. So I'll have 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 31 plus 32 plus 33 plus 42 plus 43 plus 44 plus 44 plus 56 plus 56 plus 57 plus 57 plus another 57 plus 66 plus 68 plus 69 plus 69. That gives me a total of 887 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19, that's in my sample, which is a total of 46.684. So this will stay as 46.68. That is your mean. Now your median, you have to be careful because you are You have to put it in order. So then you cross, you cross, you cross, you cross, you cross, you cross, you cross. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross, 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 cross. And then you do cross, cross. So the middle number is actually 44. 44 is your median. Okay. So I crossed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from the other. So 44 is my median. And then the last piece is to find the mode. So which one repeats the most? Well, it looks like it's 57. My mode is 57. 57 repeats 3 times. That is the mode. All right, scrolling down. I hope everything is making sense so far. What does the interquartile? So interquartile is what's going on between Q3 minus Q1. What does it represent? So this is actually in your notes. This is actually in your notes. So refer to your notes here, but I actually wrote a solution here. So it actually calculates the measure of dispersion because it characterizes how far the data set is spread from a center point. So remember, our center point is our median. So that's what it's basically, it's the spread of the data from the center. That's what the interquartile represents. Right. Find the mean, and the mode. We already did that for the previous question, but we can go ahead and do that easy. First of all, we have to add everything. Let's go ahead and do that. So round the nearest tenth here. And it's being very specific. So please make sure that you are following directions on your exam. So if it says nearest tenth, you do nearest tenth, you don't do nearest hundred, okay? So I'll do that 117 plus 117 plus 119 plus 121. I'm using my calculator. Please have your calculator in handy, especially for this exam. You have no idea. 121 plus 131 plus 132 plus 147. That gives me a total of 884 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you take that number and divide it by 7, and I get a total of 126.28. But I need to round it to the nearest 10. So that's not my answer. It's actually 126.3. This 8 tells me to go up. Now the median is the middle number, so I do cross, cross. Be careful when you're doing the median. You have to have your numbers in order, your list in order, and if it's not in order, you're going to get your incorrect median. Be careful there. Cross, 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 and when you do cross, cross, I cross to 3 from one side, 3 from the other. My median is 120. The mode, what number repeats itself the most, which is 117. 117, 117. There might be no modes at all. There might be a number that doesn't repeat. So that means there's no mode. There's no existence of a mode. But in this case, the mode was 117. Okay. Number 8, let's go ahead and apply Chebyshev's theorem within 4 standard deviations. Well, Chebyshev's theorem is exactly this formula. You have to use this formula. 1 minus 1 over k squared, where k is equal to the 4 standard deviations from the mean. So all you have to do is substitute. So you do 1 minus 1 over 4 squared. This is 1 minus 1 over 16. Be careful here. You have a whole number and you have a fraction. You have to convert the 1 into 16 over 16 minus 1 over 16. How did I get 16 over 16? Well, 1 is the same as 1 over 1. Common denominators, I have to have a 16 to get 16 over 16. Minus 1 over 16 I get 15 over 16. And this is within the standard deviations. 15 over 16. That should be your final answer. Be very careful when you are dealing with Chebyshev's theorem. Do you know how to use fractions? Do you know how to square fractions? You need to be very specific here. Do you know how to use the LCD? All that good stuff. Okay, you need that. All right, so the next one up is multiply each item by 7 and compute the mean and the standard deviation of a given sample. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to multiply each item by 7 or each thing on. So I'm going to multiply by 7 each element. That's what they're asking us to do. So again, with your calculator, you have 49 because 7 times 7 is 49. And then you do 13 times 7, you get 91. And then you have 15 times 7, which is 105. And then 19 times 7 is 133. And then you have 21 times 7, 147. And then you have 23 times 7, 161, and then 24 lastly times 7, 168. So this is the new data I'm working with. Now we need to find the mean. So the mean will be 49 plus, so to find the mean, 49 plus 91 plus 105 plus 133 plus 147 plus 161 plus 168, all divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements in my data. So then I have, let me go ahead and do that again on your calculator. It is very essential to do 49 plus 91. Make sure you also type it in correctly or correctly on your screen. You double check because there could be again margin of error here. So make sure you double or triple check. 49 plus 91 plus 105 plus 133 plus 147 plus 161 plus 168. That gives me a total of 854. Divide that number by 7, and I'm going to get 122. Okay. Yours might not be a pretty number. Who knows? Now that's my mean. This is the mean. Now I have to find the standard deviation. So I have to do all of those steps again. So the good thing is that I found my mean. I have to find the deviations. So step 2. So I have the deviations. So I have my data, the data values. And then I have the data values. Remember, your number is 49, 91, 105, 133, 147, 161, and 168. Now the deviations, that's what I care about. It's going to be 49 minus 122, 91 minus 122, 105 minus 122, 133 minus 122, 147 minus 122, 161 minus 122, 168 minus 122. So the deviations are going to be 49 minus 122, that's negative 73, comma, the other deviation was 91 minus 122, negative 31. The next one is 105 minus 122, negative 17. Next up is 133 minus 122, so that's 11. And then 147 minus 122, 25. And then of course 161. So you're going to do this. This is going to take you a long time. So be careful here with your numbers. 39. 168 minus 122, it's 46. Now you have to take these and square it and add them. So you're going to square your deviations and add them. So you're going to do negative 73 squared plus negative 31 squared plus negative 17 squared plus 11 squared plus 25 squared plus 39 squared plus 46 squared. So this is going to be a very, very, very large number. So let's go ahead and, so you're going to take this, and you're going to be dividing it by n minus 1. Remember that n is the number of your data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 minus 1. So you're going to take that number and actually divide it by 6. Then you're going to be taking the square root of this number. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my calculator. So this is for purposes of time. So you can use your graphing calculator here. If you have, it'd be nice if you have a TI 84 or TI 83. You can do it on a TI 30, but it's going to be longer. So I would just use one of these calculators. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that here. So then I have negative 73 squared, and then I have negative 31 squared, and then I also have negative 17 squared, and then I have, this is the last question, 11 squared, and then 25 squared. And then I also have 39 squared. Again, this is going to be a large number, so please, please, please make sure that you are using your calculator properly. So again, TI 84, TI 83, using parentheses, very important. Plus, and then of course you have your 46 being squared, and then divided by 6. So then you're going to be taking the square root of that number. So then once I did that, the number on the inside was, so we have the square root of 1827 after I divided it. So that's roughly, so I'm going to take the square root of 1827, and that's going to give me roughly 42.743. We're going to round to the nearest 100. And this is 42.74. Oops, 74. So then that should be your standard deviation. Notice that is what you have to do for this particular question. That is it. So then please make sure you look at the recording and you pay attention to the details that I provided you with. All right, I will see you until next time. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share now. And then I will see you until the next video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you paid attention into the details, right? I'll see you guys until next time. Bye, guys.